Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We've been having some really feel-good conversations in the loft, although homelessness is quite a heavy topic, but it's one that we really need to talk about, and I'm glad to have people with us who are doing such great work in that field. Richard, Danny, and the good doctors are joining us back on the couch. So Richard and Danny, often when people do this type of work, like the work that you do, you go in knowing that you can impact people's lives positively, but often what you get back is quite significant. How have your lives changed?
I think it's a deeply humbling experience working with people on the street. To see human suffering is something that it can only move you, and it can only move you to do good. And so it really helps for a society to recognize when people are suffering. And I think the more that our society ignores that, and the more that our society kind of brushes it aside, the worse we'll get. And so it helps, and I'm sure Danny shares the sentiment, to be there on the streets, to see people, helps move my heart, and it moves our society's heart towards those people. And I think that can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, earlier I mentioned the word seva, which means giving of yourself, wanting nothing in return. And like you said, one thing that's not negotiable is that life will give you back. For me, my journey has been performing seva in its true essence. I've never been short of anything. And as we started off serving 70 meals a week, 70 to 100 meals, we're now on 2,000 meals a week.
Wow.
And everything just happened organically. Life, I'm not religious, but let's say God's with you. God is with you as you perform seva. And it makes you realize you're not on your own. But I think also, I mean, the gratitude I've received from the homeless people, I'll be parking, the car guard will come to me and call me Uncle Danny. It's like, you know, you get like, okay. And watching the volunteers come to a soup kitchen, and all of a sudden you become human beings. Religion falls away, color falls away, gender falls away. And all of a sudden you've got a bunch of human beings that have arrived for one purpose, to help the homeless.
For the doctors, I mean, a lot of the time we tend to focus our gaze quite sturdily on those that are displaced. But what about those that are at home who know that they've got a loved one that's wandering out there? I'm curious about the psychology, but very briefly, about what those people can kind of what they go through firstly, and also how they can, do they kind of accept that their loved one is displaced, or do they go out there and actively try?
I think it's very different for people. People respond differently to life because of different problems and different family problems and different dynamics within the family. And I think very often that is why people land up on the streets, because of family dynamics that we don't necessarily understand. Yeah. So that is a tough question.
Yeah.
I think, there are so many challenges out there that we really need different interventions with families and communities. And we can't look at it with a narrow lens. We need to look at it broadly and look at all the factors that impact on people. Because a lot of people and a lot of our society live in poverty. And there are huge challenges within families. So it's quite tricky to give you a simple answer because it varies from person to person. But I think we need to strengthen families, and we need to provide people with skills and opportunities. I think my experience working at the university, when we go into communities and we place our students, is that we find that people don't have access to all the knowledge and opportunities, even about their own community. When we do a needs assessment and we find out all the different organizations and services there are, and we feed back to people, they say, wow, I didn't know there was such an organization, or there was such a service. And so we really need to empower people and give them the knowledge, make them aware, create awareness and opportunities for them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This has really been an inspiring show, and I think what's comforting is to know that although homelessness is a growing phenomenon in South Africa. The services available, the multidisciplinary services and support that is available is also growing.
Highly vast.
Yeah. So, and I feel like today's show gives us an opportunity to just pause and say, how can I help? What can I do? What do
Yeah,
I have
definitely.
at my disposal to offer to my community? So we hope you go out there and find a way to make a difference. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you so much, guests, for coming through. We absolutely appreciate all the wisdom. See you next time. Good night and God bless.